This episode of the Police One podcast is sponsored by Officer Store. Learn more about getting the gear you need at prices you can afford by visiting officerstore.com. You're listening to Policing Matters on policeone.com, and I am your host, Jim Dudley. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure and check us out on YouTube as well. Well, today we're going to delve into a topic gaining significance and attention. And, I'm on a board, it's called the 100 Club, and we support law enforcement officers and their families. And we're always trying to figure out what we could do for officers. And someone proposed that they heard from a vendor about a wellness program. And I asked the follow-up question, said, hey, well, what's the program about? And he paused for a second and he said, wellness. It's about wellness. And so it means different things for different people. And we all want wellness, but what exactly does that mean? Is it mental wellness? Is it physical or fitness wellness, relationship wellness, nutrition? There's so much that it could mean. Well, it raises those important questions. And we have some terrific leaders in wellness that are going to talk about it today and talk about a very successful program, a groundbreaking statewide wellness program that the Washington State Association of Chiefs and Sheriffs, I guess sheriffs and police chiefs, because it's called WASPC, that's helped first responders across the entire state achieve outstanding, measurable, and meaningful success in health and wellness. Well, first off, I'm going to introduce Mandy, a returning guest with over 20 years experience in developing and implementing wellness programs that enhance health, strength, quality of life, and resilience of both first responders and civilians. And you can find her complete bio in our show notes, because if I try to give it to you, that would be our show. So Mandy, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
And joining her is Chief Tina Jones, appointed as the chief of Camas Police Department in Washington State in 2023. Chief Jones is dedicated to promoting holistic wellness and resilience with her team, and her full bio is also available in our show notes. Welcome, Chief.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and finally, and not least, but is Terrina Peterson. She's the program manager with the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs, and she started with WASPC in 2017 in coordinating and managing officer wellness efforts, the sex offender program, registration, notification, and verification, and various grant programs. Welcome, Terrina.
For having me.
All right, let's get started. So Mandy, can you give us a basic overview of how the Wellness Challenge worked to help give the viewers some context?
Absolutely. Well, I'm so honored to be here and so honored to get to support WASPC's effort in providing statewide wellness support. I'm happy to share that the Wellness Challenge was driven from what officers are asking for, what first responders are asking for, and that is not just support in one category of wellness, but holistic health and wellness support. And so together we developed a really special, one-of-a-kind challenge, holistic, that really focuses on holistic health and wellness. We leveraged smart wellness goal planning with clear metric tracking and results-focused wellness leadership training to produce some really incredible, meaningful, and measurable results. And the way that we did that was we put together the challenge in a framework of 8 weeks. So everyone had a chance to start strong and pursue their goals for 8 weeks. Those goals could include everything from physical fitness and nutrition to mental health and peer support and family wellness. So those were the 5 categories that we covered in this holistic health and wellness challenge. And within those 5 categories, everybody had a chance to choose either just one category, because our motto is every healthy habit counts. So no matter where you are, everybody was welcome to just start with what they have, because what they have is plenty. And we want to make sure that we give them gradual and systematic steps to improve their health and wellness over time. So they could choose just one category, or they could choose more categories. So they could even do all 5 if they wanted to. So we wanted to make sure that we included everybody of all ranks, of all seasons of life, because again, our motto is that every healthy habit can make a difference. And at any given time, your health is always moving in a direction. Either you're moving forward and improving your health, or you might be falling behind a little bit. So as long as you can make at least one healthier decision today than you did yesterday, you're on the right track. And everybody just did so well with it. They tracked their points. They achieved incredible measurable success. And I know we'll talk about that a little bit more, but in terms of the overview of the challenge, it was statewide. All departments could participate. All ranks could participate. Civilians could participate. Everybody was welcome. And WASPC did a phenomenal job with it. And everybody really took the ball and ran with it.
Yeah, that's great. So 8 weeks, is that the Kickstarter? That's the challenge. And then what happens beyond 8 weeks?
That's the challenge. So we know that once you get yourself into a routine of healthy habits, it's easier to maintain it. But the hardest part is getting into the routine. So what we did was we leveraged everybody's synergy, because it's kind of hard to practice healthy habits just on your own. But when you're doing it together with your coworkers and you know that you're all in it to win it, and supporting each other along the way, that synergy really drives long-term success. So we structured the challenge with 8 weeks worth of wellness tips and content and videos, so that everybody had an idea of how to set a clear goal for the 8 weeks, build those healthy habits, build the routines, learn how to maintain the routines, and so that they could achieve a lot of success within the first 8 weeks and get a really positive association with health and wellness, but also so that they could build those routines that they could sustain well after those 8 weeks as well.
Yeah, so you talked about the 5 concentrations. You grounded your pre-program development and research. What kinds of metrics did you consider in creating those goals?
Great question. So we know that the American Medical Association has proven, and so has the American Heart Association and many others, have proven that for physical fitness, the bare minimum that you need, the ideal amount of exercise that you need every week is 150 minutes of exercise per week. So for the physical fitness category, that was really what we wanted to focus on. And boy, oh boy, we had hundreds of thousands of physical activity minutes logged. So we're very proud of that. We also provided an 8-week physical fitness training program that I specifically designed for law enforcement professionals. So unlike a civilian program or a recreational program, this was an occupation-specific law enforcement training program. So we gave that to everybody. There's 5 levels, so there's something for everybody. You can gradually progress as you go. But we started with that, and we asked everybody to get those 150 minutes of exercise per week using the exercise program that makes the most sense for them and using the level that makes the most sense for them. Within the physical fitness training program that I offered, there were self-assessments that everybody could take along the way so that they could also feel the progress that they're making, not just, going to the gym for funsies, but that they could actually see, hey, this is how I'm actually getting stronger to safely and effectively and efficiently perform my job. And most importantly, go home safe too. So for exercise, we use that marker of 150 minutes of exercise per week. For mental health, we decided that based on the input that we get from officers, because nothing's more important than getting the input from the field, from actual law enforcement officers and first responders in the field. So based on all of what I've heard, especially in recent years, we heard that resilience is really important. And so how can we best support resilience with mental health? One way that we could do that is to help everybody adopt new mentally healthy coping strategies and to basically just give them more tools in their toolbox. So we challenged everybody to learn about new healthy coping strategies for everyday stress and for big stress too, and then practice using those coping strategies throughout the 8 weeks. And so a lot of it was just that learning process of how many new healthy coping strategies can you learn and practice within those 8 weeks. And we're very proud that almost 6,000 new mentally healthy coping strategies were practiced. So really, really phenomenal job by everybody on that too. Additionally, we also, of course, tracked nutrition, and we didn't ask anybody to lose weight, but as it turns out, as we know, when you pair the right healthy habits together, healthy weight optimization just happens naturally. And so we had over 1,000 people track their nutrition and successfully complete their nutrition success plans. And actually several hundreds of pounds of weight loss were achieved as well. So everybody did really well with that. Lastly, we also included the challenge to really just support family wellness and peer support too, because we know that a sense of connection is really important for everybody at work. And so we had thousands of peer support connections made, as well as family connections. And a lot of that was based on just helping each other out, doing good deeds for each other, and then also getting that quality time in for families.
Yeah, wow, that's a lot. So Terrina, you've got the statewide Overwatch. What key areas were you focusing on addressing?
So when we first started the challenge, we were really trying to find a way to raise awareness and promote the availability of the statewide wellness app that was funded by our legislature for all law enforcement, corrections, and dispatch personnel. So we figured adding a little competition within the agencies and then between them and across the state would be a fun way. So this way we could get folks looking at the app and focusing on areas related to physical fitness, nutrition, mental health, relationships with peers and family. The great thing about the challenge, like Mandy said, is that there was something for everyone and participants could just choose for themselves what they wanted to focus on each week.
Yeah, so you mentioned the app. Did the app measure your 150 minutes? Did it break down how you were feeling? Did it do mental health assessments? Tell us about the app a little bit.
So in the app, like Mandy was saying, that's where she made her physical fitness stuff all available. All of the tools that Mandy had talked about are all in the app. So there was videos and different programs throughout the app, different modules each week where they learned about new healthy coping mechanisms or how to make family connections or connecting with your peers and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Chief Jones, how'd you get involved at Camas?
Yeah, so improving wellness and building resilience in our team has been a key focus for me, for our team since I've been chief. I have been participating in the WASPC Wellness Committee, which is an amazing group that's trying to push our state forward, especially at the executive level, to improve wellness and have that focus for our teams. And I was just really excited to get our team involved in the statewide challenge. For me, the vision is all about not only making it to retirement, but beyond and being able to thrive and be healthy. This career can have an impact on us in a negative way over time, especially if we don't take time to check in with ourselves, get supports, and engage in a lot of these holistic areas of wellness and well-being throughout our careers. So this was a really exciting challenge to participate in, and cops love to have a little bit of a challenge. They're pretty competitive on the whole, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so some of these programs, they're given to line officers and they feel really top down. What'd you do to make them feel involved? Mandy, I want to ask you first.
Yeah, it's really wonderful to see leaders step up and support the health and well-being of their staff. We say our employees are our most valuable resource, but it means something so different when you're on the ground and you're helping encourage them to not just perform the job well, but also take care of themselves, just like Chief Jones was saying. And, I hear a lot of officers saying that they, one of their goals is to leave the shift better than they came. And that can mean a lot of things. And part of that now includes health and wellness. So that's very exciting. When it comes to making sure that everybody's included, the tone is set from the top, and the WASPC leadership and the agency leaders did such a phenomenal job making sure that everybody knew that this challenge is for them and really to support them as a whole person more than just a badge number. We also, in addition to that, to make sure that just on the logistics level that we didn't just talk about it, we actually made sure that everybody had what they needed to, because part of this is just removing roadblocks to helping everybody that can get in the way of wellness. So to make sure that we were able to remove the roadblocks to people participating, we also organized wellness coordinator training before the challenge started. So that way we got a chance to look over everything together, make sure that it had everything that the wellness coordinators also felt that they needed and they wanted in the challenge too, answer any questions that they had, and then also incorporate some of their ideas into the challenge as well. Those wellness coordinator trainings were very successful. We had great participation, and shout out to all of those very wonderful and hardworking wellness coordinators that made sure that their agencies knew exactly how to participate and when, and did a great job doing it.
Great. Chief Jones?
Yeah, so we had one of our sergeants, Brian Salwasser, was our lead who led the efforts for our team and connected with Terrina at the state level. And it was a very organized fashion where, you know, the liaisons would get information and then pass it on to our team. We created a wellness committee in our police department a couple of years ago, and that's comprised of our sworn members and also our professional staff and support staff. And they come forward with ideas for our team. And we've had different grant opportunities, and we've been able to get support at the state level to move our agency forward, whether that's training and things like that. For the challenge, you know, getting buy-in, I think, is really important at that grassroots level, and they generated their own energy. But it was also important for me to participate and show, you know, how important these efforts are as well. So we really had a group team effort. Sergeant Salwasser would provide the updates weekly, and we could see where we were on the leaderboard, and it helped keep us motivated to continue to participate and have fun with it.
Yeah, awesome. So it sounds like some competition as well.
Yes.
So I really want to talk about the tangible results. Mandy, you alluded to hundreds of pounds being lost, and hopefully there were some other metrics in there that measured the success. But first, I want to take a moment and thank our sponsor, Officer Store, equipping protectors with passion. That's how we operate, and it's how we live. We understand that having the right gear can mean the difference between life and death. Our goal is to get you the gear you need, when you need it, at prices you can afford. Visit us at officerstore.com. And we're back with Mandy Nice, Terrina Peterson, and Chief Tina Jones discussing the historic IACP recognized WASPC Wellness Challenge. And I want to ask again about the line officers, because sometimes, you know, they get voluntold to participate. I want to know, what was the response like from the line officers when the program was first introduced? I can imagine the people in the back row shaking their heads, rolling their eyes. Chief Jones, what were the initial reactions?
Yeah, so I don't believe in forcing people to do something. I feel like if we can, you know, with small exceptions, but in this case, if we can get people curious, get, you know, a good group of folks engaged and excited about whether it's the challenge or just trying new things, like mindfulness for our department, and getting them to have an open mind about the options that are out there. The app is a great example of, you know, especially for this challenge, our officers kind of some of them started exploring in the app, and then it built this curiosity, and, you know, they were talking about it, and, hey, did you take this quiz? You know, and they had all these different types of quizzes in there. One of them specifically was about ADHD. And one of the officers asked another officer, did you take the quiz? And this is the score I got. See if you can beat that. Again, competitive. And the other officer took the quiz, and she asked him, well, what was your score? And he said, well, mine said I need to go to a doctor. And he did. And he actually was prescribed some medication and got a diagnosis. And he has shared with our team how this has improved his life in a positive way, because he's the most focused that he's been in his entire life. And his wife's very happy about it. So this is just one win that's a tangible win that, you know, sprung from the challenge and getting this curiosity and energy around the app. And so, you know, it makes me happy for people to know that this resource is there, And they may not need it today, but maybe there's a coworker down the road who's struggling. There's a lot of great information, resources, referral information, peer support member contacts, and things that, I want people to know these tools are there for them and for their coworkers. And we're trying to build that culture where we can be okay with getting help and support, and that's acceptable, and that we help each other out as well.
Yeah, so I know, you get more participation with the carrot, right? And so incentives are always good. I know there's that natural tendency to want to be a part of a challenge, right? We're also competitive. Chief, any incentives to get people to participate? Did you see participation pretty even across your agency?
We did not, I didn't even think to consider building in incentives. I learned about it through preparation for the podcast, and I thought, what a great idea. Maybe next year we could add something like that. It really was more of just, the energy of people here in our department have been hungry to participate in wellness and, you know, get more information and really improve themselves so they can thrive. So it was exciting. I didn't even realize there were prizes at the end. When I brought back after the WASPC conference, I learned we won a body composition scale, which is really cool, a trophy and a big banner. And so I brought those back, and it brought smiles to our team. We've got the banner right outside of our patrol room, and it's a great reminder that wellness is important. And we also are proud of our efforts, considering this was a statewide challenge.
Yeah, Terrina, anything to add?
So from the WASPC level, we tried to group the agents. So we provided incentives for the agencies. And so we grouped the agencies by size, and then each group had a winner. So Chief Jones was from the small agency group. And then we recognized all the winners at our spring conference. Before the challenge started, we met with all the coordinators, though, to try to help them strategize prizes and encourage participation at the agency level. And there were quite a few agencies that got donations from local businesses. So that was great to see. And I think that really boosted people's want, because they want to win, right? So some agencies had like weekly prizes, and then total prizes at for the overall winners.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's always nice to have a prize. I know the reluctance. So, Chief Jones, I know you're one of the 60% of our smaller, under 100 sworn agencies. From my experience with San Francisco PD, if we ever did anything, there'd be that 20% that we'd really have to sort of goad along to get them to see the benefit. And I could see that Terrina offering some of those incentives and prizes might actually grab them. You introduced your fitness goals, including strength, muscle building, weight loss, family wellness, and peer support. I'm so encouraged by the on and off duty benefits of the program. What incentives outside of how did you get them to take it home with them? Did they share it with their families as well?
So, our wellness committee, again, has kind of been driving a lot of our initiatives. And I think, the design of this challenge helped to integrate the balance, right? So it's not only maybe engaging in your wellness time that we offer at our department, and really utilize that to improve maybe your fitness goals, or maybe it's meditation, maybe it's going and using the massage chair, but also with some of these family elements. I think it did generate a lot of conversation, and offers additional tools to our family members as well, because they're also impacted by the jobs that our team members do, whether it's, us coming home after a difficult and challenging day, or, officers having to work on special events, days, whether it's a holiday or birthday party and things like that. So really, the challenge I thought was so well done to integrate all of these elements, and provide people with opportunities to learn more tools and techniques for how to have that balance in life.
Yeah, awesome. And I know we all want to see results. We all want to see progress. And so I understand you had a scorecard. Mandy, can you tell us about the Wellness Challenge scorecard? What'd that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to results, I think that that's probably what's most motivating. All of our time is very valuable and how we spend it is important. And so when we look at, the benefits of some of the different categories of wellness that we supported, we see some really important results because when you look at the challenges that officers face, for example, in physical fitness alone, there are studies that have been published that show that the least fit officers can account for 80% of workplace accidents, and a heart attack can cost $400 to $700,000. And it also contributes to early things like back pain. Also contribute to like 35 to 85% of all early retirements. And when you look at all those statistics, they're heartbreaking. We can't settle for that. Our first responders deserve the very best. They're our most noble and dedicated and courageous professionals in the community, and they deserve the highest quality of life. And so a lot of what we built this challenge around was to make sure that we support that through giving them the content and the videos and the guidance and the materials, but also give them the motivation, and even stronger than motivation, the tools that they can use to commit to making sure that they get to practice the healthy habits that will support their safety, their effectiveness, and most importantly, their quality of life and longevity. So one of the most important tools that we used with that was, of course, our scorecard. And it is a weekly scorecard. And I'll let Terrina talk a little bit more about it. But the premise of it was that we know that if we can see that when we practice a healthy habit, we get a result. We practice a healthy habit, we get a result. And all of the programs that I designed, whether it was with physical fitness, with those self-assessments along the way, or whether it was with nutrition, developing one healthy habit a week and really checking that box that they develop that healthy habit and that skill with nutrition, primarily in decision making. Those are all designed to be progressive levels of motivation and of, more importantly, upskilling that they can use to stay on track throughout the 8 weeks and beyond. So, Terrina, do you want to share a little bit more about how the scorecard worked?
Sure. So we just kind of took all the content, the Wellness Challenge content that was in the app, and then I kind of created a scorecard that people could just, report their results. So they were able to track their participation weekly. They got points for certain things, right? So every category, they were able to earn points, like Mandy was talking about earlier. If they did their success action plan for the week, they got points for that. And then how many days did they stick to it? They earned extra points for that. Obviously, we did kind of a tiered scale for minutes worked out, because not everybody's going to be able to get 150 minutes. So we wanted people to earn points for whatever effort they had, whatever time they had to put into physical fitness. So in the scorecard, they were also able to report their weekly wellness wins. And so that's where we kind of gave them the opportunity to just tell us what was good about the week. And then I think that's where Mandy used some of those wellness wins, I guess, to where they reported like weight loss and extra connections with their families. So I was surprised to see a lot of people reporting like that the challenge was a good reminder that they needed to make those connections with their family members.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
sure.
Adding to that a little bit too, Terrina just did such a phenomenal job helping make sure that everybody had access to those scorecards, that they're easy to use, and helping keep up the leaderboards for everybody. And she just did such a phenomenal job doing that, and then making sure everything was available on the webpage for everybody to access at any time. So I think that, sometimes it's easy to look at something on paper and think, oh, logically that should work. But
Sure.
It's people like Terrina and Chief Jones and our wellness coordinators and our wellness committees and those sergeants, and everybody really came together to make sure that we all felt the synergy around the mission to get healthy.
Yeah, for sure. And Mandy, you mentioned some, the things that we talk about over our career as presumptive injuries, backs from carrying around that, heavy gun belt, the cardiopulmonary, from, the sedentary aspects of the job and things like that. So the long-term success is our goal, right? So a lot of times we're introducing these things to already veteran officers. How can we make sure that we start this at the academy and follow it through? Mandy?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm really excited that that's a part of today's conversation because over the years, this wasn't always health and wellness wasn't always part or a big priority in the profession. But more and more, we're seeing that the younger generations are asking for it, and they're actually kind of expecting it to be folded into their training programs and in their careers as well. So I've had the honor of helping quite a few different academies start to integrate health and fitness programming, whether that's as a module or as an actual class, into their academy training programs so that these first responders have the tools from day one. One of the most important things that we can do is help them set the expectation for themselves that they're going to need to be able to stay fit and healthy in all these different aspects in order to stay safe, most importantly, but also to be able to perform the job the way they want to. One of the things that I often say to new recruits is, I want you to just visualize your most impressive foot pursuit. The reason you got into this job, you're going to go get the suspect and you're going to save the innocent people and you're going to save the day, right? I want you to visualize that in detail as you go through. And then I ask them, okay, you visualized it. It was a success. Amazing. Now tell me, when you apprehended the suspect, were you out of breath? Yeah? No, you probably were not thinking I'm out of breath. Okay. When you were helping the suspect get into the vehicle, was your back killing you? At that point, was it a distraction? Absolutely not. So we know that if in your ideal version of what you want this job to look like, feel like on the hardest day, we know that you want to feel good and you want to feel your best doing it. So let's make sure that you have the tools, the guidance, and the pathways to do that. And that's really where health and wellness comes in.
Yeah, awesome. And a lot of the parts of the program can happen passively, right? Well, active nutrition, you pack a lunch ahead of time, you do some other things, but working out, getting strong, doing some of the things that you described. Chief Jones, how did you incorporate on-duty time for participation in the program?
Yeah, so our team has built-in wellness time as part of our practice. And so they do have time for that. We've been fortunate in our state, our legislators have been funding some wellness grant monies for the last few years. And we've really tapped into that to try and weave in the different holistic elements, whether it's bringing in people on our training days, which we already block out, but we're prioritizing weaving in the wellness concepts into our training days. For example, we've brought in people to talk about financial wellness, nutritional wellness, body mechanics, and how to focus on working our bodies, getting in and out of a patrol car, say, with all of this gear on over and over. If we're not paying attention to how we're doing that or building that muscle memory to do it in a way that's going to keep our bodies from injury, then that's all important information that I think isn't necessarily things that you learn at the academy. We've also been working on stress management and have had some mindfulness exercises and seminars that we've participated in, and the feedback that I've heard from the team has been really encouraging. Sometimes, some of these things might be a little bit out of people's comfort zone, or it might be something that they haven't thought of before. And I've been really impressed with their willingness to keep an open mind and participate. And I've heard very, very positive things from this. And again, this has all been made possible from some additional grant monies that we've been able to get from the state. But a lot of these things don't have to cost a lot of money. Some of the folks that we brought in were from the community who wanted to come and talk to our officers at a training day, for example, about financial well-being. And the cost was very minimal. So I encourage chiefs out there and training sergeants to look around in your community, because there are a lot of people who have some expertise who often they want to support and help your team. And so there's ways to weave it in. And it's really important. Again, we're talking about, keeping people safe at a higher level. It's not just about making it through that call safely. It's about making it through this career, reducing the suicide rate across the nation, which is staggering for our sworn officers, and helping people to navigate healthy relationships and navigate difficult times, so we're not seeing as many divorces and families that are torn apart, helping people who have addiction issues, the things that are sometimes difficult to talk about. I feel encouraged that culturally, nationally, we've been moving things forward so that there's not as much stigma to go and talk to a mental health professional and get some additional supports from people who are out there. So I'm really encouraged. This was a wonderful program for us to participate in. I hope to see more of this in the future. I think, these are good reminders for our officers to take that time, take a minute, really focus on them. We tend to be givers and helpers, and we give a lot for, our community and our families. And sometimes we also have to remember that we've got to take care of ourselves so that we can do our best to take care of others.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, I want to wrap up, mindful of your time, and for our viewers looking for more information, either agencies in Washington State to say, hey, what about us? How do we get in the challenge? Terrina, how could other states replicate or find out more about the WASPC Wellness Challenge?
So we have a Wellness Challenge website. Well, that's where everybody in our state found the information. And then I think if they're using Cordico, all of the Wellness Challenge modules are in there. And I'm happy to answer any questions if people want to reach out and talk about how they can do this in their state. I'm happy to help.
All right, Mandy?
Yeah, absolutely. Feel welcome to reach out to us and ask questions, because sometimes the hardest part is getting started, and we're so happy to have built a template that is very transferable. So if you're ready to learn more about the Wellness Challenge, just let us know. Find us here, find us on LinkedIn, find us anywhere you can, and maybe I'll see you at a conference coming up. But we're more than happy to support everybody. WASPC has just done such a phenomenal job leading the way in this. And thankfully, I think a lot of other agencies and even states can benefit from all of what they put together as well. They're real role models.
Yeah, terrific. And we're going to put a link to the PDF in our show notes that you can find on the audio and the YouTube version as well. Well, thank you, Mandy. Mandy Nice. Thank you, Chief Jones and Terrina Peterson. Thanks so much for valuable information and just such a great, on duty, off duty, holistic, measurable wellness program. Appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
All right, to our viewers, I hope you enjoyed today's show, and check out the PDF in our show notes if you want to know more about the Washington State Police and Sheriff's Association Wellness Challenge, measurable success for law enforcement officers and their families immediately and long term. And that's our goal, right? We want to live through this career as well. So drop me a line at policingmatters@policeone.com and let me know what you think. And I'll be sure and share it with our guests today if you've got something to say about their program as well. All right. Well, take good care. Take good care of yourself. Watch what you're eating. Get some good sleep. And be safe. And I hope to talk to you again real soon. Take good care.